The Pittsburgh Steelers will never be nothing more than a team that's going to get over 500, not win a playoff game, get blown out by one of the big teams like the Chiefs, Bills, or even Dolphins, in the playoffs, wild card away from home. Every single year for the past 5 years, it's the same thing over and over. The Pittsburgh Steelers runner up in the division, they go and play a team like Buffalo or Kansas, and they get blown out in the first round of the playoffs. And this year will be no different. Yeah, there's been a lot of quarterback changes, but look at this. After the Steelers win against the Falcons and Justin Fields played, over my expectations. I thought we were going to get blown out and Justin Fields is going to be horrible. Actually, Justin Fields ended up being a sort of game manager that game. Obviously, no touchdowns, but to be fair, coming from a quarterback that knows hours before the game that he's going to be the starter, it wasn't as bad as some people made it out to be. I think it was a pretty good start. Now, they are still monitoring Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is 35 years of age, has a calf injury. There's no reason for him to be even considered a starter after Justin Fields got us a win against the Falcons, who I will tell you right now, the Falcons will be a top 5 defense by the end of the year. They have tons of great defensive pieces, and they're honestly just week one with a ton of changes in Atlanta. This team is going to be even better, and they didn't allow a single touchdown. So, to be fair, that's not a bad defensive game. Honestly, Kirk Cousins sold them the game. But Justin Fields deserves to be the starter. This is a young quarterback, not 35 years old, who has showed, glimpses of hope in his game. Yes, he can be a turnover machine at times, but lately, last game, he didn't turn the ball over as people may have thought he would have. Now, Justin Fields can be a cornerstone, quarterback for a franchise, can really be a franchise guy, but you won't know that unless you give him the opportunity. I believe I'd rather ride it out with Justin Fields and lose and end up winning only 5 games than going with Russell Wilson and winning 9 games, because the Pittsburgh Steelers have been stuck in that 10 to 15 range where, yeah, you're going to make the playoffs, you're over 500, but that's it. It's time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to finally find that franchise quarterback before the defense is out. We're going to waste the likes of TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Patrick Queen, Minka Fitzpatrick, all these defensive studs that we have, we're going to waste them. You know why? Because we don't have a quarterback that's going to take us to the next level. We had the likes of Kenny Pickett. We had Trubisky, Mason Rudolph. These are bums, not even top 32 quarterbacks. And now we're going to come in and get Justin Fields, who has the potential to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I like that he can run. Russell Wilson can't run like Justin Fields. So I would give him the opportunity this season. If he stinks and we end up winning 5 games, we get a top draft pick and we could finally draft the franchise quarterback. Or Justin Fields ends up being that guy and we win the division. We finally win a playoff game. Why not? And look, people may be saying, Justin Fields only had 156 yards. Middle of the field isn't being used, but that's Arthur Smith. Atlanta Falcons fans, you understand that Arthur Smith also is one of the most conservative play callers out here. We went from Matt Canada, who was a conservative, to Arthur Smith. That is going from, Mitt Romney to Donald Trump, 2 conservative candidates right there, and expecting democratic change. That is not going to happen. One day, maybe that I'm alive, we're going to have a creative offensive coordinator, But as of now, it's not looking like it. Arthur Smith isn't going to lead us anywhere further from what Matt Canada had done. So I'm going to tell you this right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers will not be nothing more than a mid-table team. Yeah. Because look, 17 for 13, 156 yards. Then he had, all his rushes and whatnot. But look, 20 carries, 70 yards. That's awful. If it's not working with Najee Harris, why don't you go Jaylen Warren more snaps? Jaylen Warren, when he runs the ball, last season, he was more electric than Najee Harris. Jaylen Warren was, highly reduced his snaps. I don't understand why. Najee Harris, with 20 snaps, you would expect, a lot more yardage. Look at the 49ers backup. This guy had, 28 snaps, but 145 yards. That is good. That is good usage. Now, Najee Harris over here, 20 carries, 70 yards. If it's not working, use Jaylen Warren. There's no way, there's no reason for Cordell Patterson to get more carries than Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren is our most electric running back. Cordell Patterson wouldn't be in the league if it weren't for us. There's not another team asking for Cordell Patterson. There's a lot of teams that'd be interested in Jalen Warren considering the season he had last year, but nobody cares what Cordell Patterson's doing. So Jalen Warren needs his usage to go up. Cordell Patterson's usage needs to get out of here, and Najee Harris's usage has to get lower because he's not as efficient as Jalen Warren. And Jalen Warren is about to get the Bijan Robinson treatment, which is going to be awful considering that he had an insane season last year that would have to have consideration to get even more snaps than he did last year. But instead, Arthur Smith is going to ruin the team right here. Now, it's the only bright spot that I had was Justin Fields and George Pickens really had a connection, something that we didn't really see George Pickens ever have with Kenny Pickett. So I'm really glad to see Justin Fields and Pickens really had a connection. But aside from George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth, there's not much of a playmaker when it comes to a receiver in the air. I'm really excited to see what Wilson can bring to the table. I think also Calvin Austin should get more snaps. Van Jefferson ain't it. As well. Look at this. One reception. We need more guys over here. And obviously Roman Wilson will be a factor if he could come in and have the same usage that George Pickens had as a rookie. But I really want to see Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, and George Pickens be the main receivers with Pat Freiermuth at the tight end. And obviously Jalen Warren gets a lot more catches. But I want to see a lot more from Jalen Warren. That's what I want to see. I think that's going to be the difference, but I feel like he's going to get the Bijan Robinson treatment because Arthur Smith seems to have his biased favorites when it comes to backs. We saw it in Atlanta when Tyler Algier was getting a lot more snaps than Bijan Robinson, and I think the same thing is going to happen here. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos, and leave a comment down below. What do you think the Steelers are going to end up? I think nothing more than 10 wins and no playoff wins whatsoever. Yeah, they'll go over 500 no matter what, I believe. But they're not going to win no playoff game. They're going to go to Kansas City, or they'll go to Buffalo, they'll go to Miami, they'll go to maybe even the Texans, and they're just going to get blown out. That's the simple lifespan of a Steeler fan. Over 500, flex, you haven't gone under 500, get blown out in the playoffs, and then you go and draft either a corner or an O-lineman and rinse and repeat. That's what it looks like. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.